When your own driver starts calling the strategy over team radio, mid-race, and the team still doesn't listen, you know something's boiling beneath the surface. In Canada, Charles Leclerc was more than vocal. He was fed up. But was he right? Or was Ferrari playing it safe for a reason? Let's break down one of the most tense radio exchanges of the year, and the conversation that followed behind closed doors. It all started with a simple call, Plan C. That's what Leclerc wanted, a one-stop strategy on hard tires. He was feeling good. The rubber was holding. He saw a path to the end. But Ferrari had other ideas. With just over 40 laps to go, they pulled him in and slapped on another set of hards, locking him into a two-stop strategy. Leclerc was baffled. Over the radio, you could hear the disbelief. "I don't understand this choice. The tires were fine." Engineer: "We are on floor B." "Yes, but I was just telling you that the tires were fine." Even after the second stint began, confusion reigned. Leclerc was told to lift and coast to protect the mediums. Tires he wanted to spend more laps on, not fewer. "I don't understand. The mediums for me are a good tire." This wasn't just strategy talk, it was a tug of war over trust, instincts, and who actually calls the shots mid-race. Post-race, Charles didn't hold back. While he owned up to messing up in FP1 and under-delivering in qualifying, he made one thing very clear. He still believed the one-stop was the better route. "We were aligned at one point. I was pretty sure of what I felt, what I had seen around me, that the one-stop was the right call." But team principal Fred Vasseur had his own take. He admitted they discussed it. Yes, Leclerc was right to say they had nothing to lose. But in Ferrari's view, betting on a 50-lap hard stint was just too optimistic, especially with limited data after Charles's FP1 crash. Where he's right is that we didn't have much to lose, but it was too risky. We were missing laps to estimate it. So what was the real cost? Maybe a spot, maybe two. But Leclerc himself admitted it wasn't the strategy alone that sunk his weekend. It was starting P8. In a grid this tight, there's no room for error, and he knew his Friday crash set the tone. Still, this wasn't just another missed opportunity. It was a spotlight on how Ferrari operates under pressure. With Leclerc sitting ahead of Hamilton in the standings and firmly carrying the Scuderia's points haul, his voice is growing louder. And it's no longer just frustration, it's leadership. What if we told you that one of the biggest controversies of the Canadian Grand Prix didn't make the TV broadcast? A crucial radio message, a high-speed collision, and conflicting opinions from inside the paddock. And in the middle of it all, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, and a race engineer's gut reaction that might surprise you. Strap in. This one goes beyond the highlights. While millions watched the chaotic closing laps of the Canadian GP, something went unnoticed by the broadcast. Behind the scenes, Max Verstappen's engineer, Giampiero Lambiase, delivered a quick-fire reaction over the team radio that painted a very different picture from what fans eventually saw. His words: "Piastri put Norris onto the grass and into the wall along the start-finish straight." That's right. At first glance, Red Bull's own race engineer believed Oscar Piastri was the one at fault in the incident that ended Norris's race. It was an intense moment, made in the chaos of double yellows and an incoming safety car. But it adds a whole new layer of drama when you consider what happened next. Because post-race, both Max Verstappen and George Russell agreed that the move from Norris was never on. In fact, they even laughed about it in the cool-down room. Verstappen's simple "no" in response to Russell's "there wasn't really a gap" says it all. So which is it? Was Norris too aggressive, or did Piastri quietly shut the door just enough to trigger contact? It gets even murkier from here. Let's zoom out. This wasn't just any incident. It involved three of the biggest title contenders in 2025. Norris was pushing for a podium. Piastri, leading the championship, had everything to lose. And Verstappen, still chasing both in the standings. Immediately after the crash, Norris owned up to it, called it stupid, admitted it was all my fault, and even tracked Piastri down to apologize face-to-face. That kind of honesty is rare in F1. But does that mean he was the only one to blame? Former world champion Jacques Villeneuve doesn't think so. He's pointed fingers at Piastri for edging left at the wrong moment, calling it a little bit nasty. In his view, it wasn't a clean block. It was a slow squeeze that left Norris nowhere to go. He's not supposed to be doing that. With McLaren playing damage control and the FIA slapping Norris with a 5-second penalty, things might seem settled. But Verstappen's 5th podium, Norris's DNF, and Piastri walking away with extended championship lead, that collision shifted the entire title narrative. And remember that post-quali dig from Russell about Verstappen's penalty points? I've got a few more points on my license to play with. That wasn't just banter. It set the tone for an ultra-strategic Sunday, one where even behind the safety car behavior triggered protests from Red Bull. Yes, they accused Russell of erratic driving and trailing the safety car too far. None of it stuck, but the intent was clear. Every move, every word, every second counts when the title is this close. So while the stewards ruled, the paddock is still divided. And the real question now? Has this rivalry between Red Bull, McLaren, and Mercedes just crossed into psychological warfare? Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure. Austria's going to be spicy. What if I told you Ferrari might be on the verge of swapping out their Formula One team boss? Again. And that the name at the top of the replacement list isn't a paddock regular, but a man from a completely different racing world who just dominated Le Mans. Oh, and yes, they really tried to steal Christian Horner. This story isn't just about who's in charge. It's about a team at a crossroads. Buckle up. Ferrari's 2025 season was supposed to be the next chapter in their revival. A strong 2024 behind them, Lewis Hamilton in red, and a car designed to challenge for championships. 10 races in, they're trailing McLaren by nearly 200 points, stuck in internal friction, and with 0 Sunday podiums for their star recruit. Naturally, all eyes are on team principal Fred Vasseur, and the Italian media hasn't held back. Reports suggest his position is hanging by a thread. But here's the twist. If Ferrari pulls the trigger, his replacement might not be who you'd expect. Enter Antonello Coletta, the man behind Ferrari's World Endurance Championship success. Coletta's not just running WEC, he's dominating it. Back-to-back wins at Le Mans, an undefeated streak with the 499P hypercar, and a reputation for structure, precision, and no-nonsense leadership. His work has turned Ferrari into a powerhouse outside of F1, and that's exactly why he's now in pole position to lead the Scuderia's Formula One team. And it's not just noise. Reports claim Ferrari already tried to lure Christian Horner away from Red Bull and failed. With Horner firmly planted in Milton Keynes and publicly reaffirming his loyalty, all signs point to Coletta as Plan B, or maybe Plan A all along. Vasseur's appointment back in 2022 was supposed to bring stability after years of chaos post-Binotto. And for a while it worked. The 2024 season saw 5 wins, a constructors' title fight, and real progress. But this year, design gambles have flopped, Leclerc's consistency is carrying the team, and Hamilton's debut season has been rocky. Internally, the vibe has shifted. Externally, the media storm is relentless. In Canada, Vasseur didn't mince words. Visibly frustrated, he slammed the swirling rumors, calling them disrespectful to his team and hurting the focus of the whole operation. He even suggested some journalists are simply looking to exist by stirring controversy, and warned that every ounce of distraction costs them on-track performance. But let's be real, Ferrari operates under a different kind of microscope. Pressure isn't just expected, it's built into the bricks at Maranello. And when you've got Coletta crushing WEC, Horner turning you down, and shareholders growing impatient, patience runs thin. Oh, and there's even talk of restructuring Ferrari's leadership to mirror McLaren's dual-head model. That would mean Coletta working alongside Lorenzo Giorgetti, a commercial heavyweight at Ferrari, in a split leadership format. A modern approach, or the next chapter in Ferrari's corporate chaos. The team hasn't made any official move yet, but one thing's clear, the walls around Vasseur are closing in.